Hello everyone, Dave Fernandez here. I'm the founder of the Coach Your Way School and the author of the #1 factor that determines your success in business, which by the way you can get for free once you join our Facebook group. And I'll add a link on the description down below for you to do so later. So welcome, and today we're going to talk about the imposter syndrome, what it is, how to figure out if you have it, and how to get rid of it again if you have it. So this is a topic that is very dear to my heart because I've dealt with this for many years. I remember when I was starting, knowing that I really wanted to help people, knowing that I wanted to coach others, and for one reason or another, I could not get myself to do it. I started doing things that were along the lines of coaching and motivation and teaching and training, etc., but never coaching per se, which took many years. And it wasn't until I found, or I came across this formula that I'm going to teach to you today, that I was able to start overcoming, this malady. And by the way, imposter syndrome, let me define it for you so we're all on the same page here. Imposter syndrome is pretty much, it's a malady that a lot of new coaches, a lot of new authors and speakers and consultants will have, right? And primarily what it is that you feel inadequate to teach, train, share your knowledge, and charge for it. That's the difference there, right? How many times do you find yourself, with neighbors, friends, co-workers, just giving your advice for free, helping people through projects, helping people through challenging times, etc., without charging any money, seeing them succeed because of your advice or your help, and everything was fine, right? No harm, no foul. But the moment you think about charging someone for your advice or your knowledge, all of a sudden you freeze, right? That is imposter syndrome. You feel like an imposter, right? You feel like a fraud. There's a number of reasons why this happens, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But remember, that is the trigger, the money. The money is what makes all the difference in the world, right? At the moment that you start charging or you want to charge for something, that's when all of a sudden, you feel like you're not worthy, right? Can you relate to that? All of a sudden, a number of limiting beliefs and feelings of inadequacy and all kinds of thoughts and excuses as to why you couldn't do that, why you couldn't charge someone, just in case you wouldn't be able to deliver, just in case you wouldn't be able to get them results, just in case they found out that you were a fraud. That is a huge one. That is actually the thing that we all fight against when we're trying to, become coaches or speakers and sell our knowledge and information for a fee, teach others, train people, and we just feel like we're not worthy all of a sudden. We've been doing it all our lives. We've been helping people, sharing knowledge, advising others, but the moment you ask for the money is, everything crashes down, right? Within you, at least. So how does this come about? Not sure how familiar you are with, belief systems, etc. But just for the sake of everyone else who may be new to these concepts, I'm just going to go ahead and explain how beliefs come to exist, how our minds get programmed in certain ways, and that's that. So every time as you were growing up that you encounter a new experience in your life, could have been a person, could have been a situation, it could have been any sort of experience, right? Your mind was, if this was a new experience, your mind was very aware of everything that was going on. If the experience was a mild experience, well, your brain records the experience, with a mild type of feeling attached to it and certain memories that will kind of guide you next time you encounter the same experience as to how you should behave around that experience, how you should feel about it, and what to do about it if it requires an action from you. It's almost like a little program, a little application that gets imprinted in your subconscious mind to help you navigate through that situation in that case. We probably encountered a billion different experiences and situations as we were growing up, and you can imagine the amount of this little, memes or programs that we have in our subconscious that allow us today to be able to navigate through pretty much anything without thinking too much about it. And that's the whole point of the belief, right? It helps you navigate, but it also, in that little moment where it records that memory, it tells your brain this is safe or this is not safe, right? That's probably the number one thing that the brain is doing and scanning for every time it encounters a new experience or a new situation that you've never been exposed to before. You need to know and gather as much information as you can in order to first determine that this is a safe environment, and then you start relaxing and not enjoying, but taking in all the other different elements about that experience that get imprinted in your brain. And now from that point on, your mind doesn't have to do the scanning anymore about that situation. It already knows and goes back to that little program and knows how it feels, how it looks like, how what's going to happen most likely, and how you should act around the experience, etc. So that's pretty much what a belief is. We know about limiting beliefs. We hear all about them these days. People talk about how they're being limited by beliefs, etc. The thing that is happening is that the belief is not good or bad. It's just not allowing you to experience new things or let new things into your life. What happens with the belief system is that once the brain records that memory and knows how to navigate through that, again, it just forgets about it, and next time it won't even consider any other information around it. It just goes with it. That's it. We've been through it. We know how to get through it, and we're just gonna go by this program, no problem. We know it's safe. We know how to navigate through it. So why let any other stuff in while there's so many other processes that need your attention and energy in your brain, right? So what happens is that these beliefs start acting as a filter. That is a problem when you're trying to do things that you've never done before, such as coaching for a fee. You might have been coaching again for many years, other people for free. Not the same thing. There's a program that you may have at some point in your life. You gather that program, from your parents, your teachers, or whatnot. That asking money for certain things is not correct, right? You should be nice to people. You should share your stuff with other people. Why would you charge? Why would you make it into a business transaction, right? So a lot of us have all kinds of feelings and beliefs about money that are hindering us in many ways when we're trying to start a business. So let me just recap real quick the filtering mechanism before we go into the 4-step formula that I'm going to share with you. But that filtering mechanism, what it does, again, is not allowing new information in. And the problem that causes is that every time you encounter a new situation, like, you're going to coach someone and you dare to ask for money, and at that point, all these beliefs say, what, this is not in our psychological makeup. We can't find or match this experience to anything that we already believe to be true. So you must reject or sabotage the situation right now and return to your comfort zone, right? That is what a limiting belief is. It's not good, it's not bad. In many cases, these beliefs are keeping you alive. So and these fears, right? Fear is not the enemy. Fear, make sure you don't get hit by a bus down the street, right? So fear is your friend. The problem becomes when you don't know how to deal with emotion, right? I'm gonna share some of this with you right now. So in 4 steps, I'm gonna tell you how to go from where you are right now to where you wanna be and develop a new type of belief that is going to support, your goal of becoming a coach, if that's your goal. First step in the formula is always, you need to take inventory, right? You need to know where you stand. So step number 1 is become aware. Self-awareness. You become aware of your beliefs, the beliefs that are running the show right now, the beliefs that are not allowing you to charge money for your services or your information, the beliefs that are getting in your way. It doesn't have to be necessarily about business. It could be about anything that may have an impact in what you're trying to achieve, right? Once you understand where you're coming from, then you have a starting point. You have awareness about what's happening, right? That gives you a start point. You can do this very easily. Remember I told you I was going to share with you a little formula to find out what your beliefs about something are. It's very easy. All you got to do is just ask yourself, what would I have to believe in order to behave this way? What would I have to believe in order to not be able to charge money for my knowledge? What would I have to believe in order to feel uncomfortable in a situation where there's a money exchange and I am going to train someone, something that I've been doing for years? All of a sudden, I cannot do it because money is involved. What would I have to believe in order for that to happen within me, okay? I encourage you to make a list of everything that comes up, the thoughts, the beliefs, everything. What would I have to believe? Well, that I'm not worthy of the money. What would I have to believe? That my information is not good enough. What would I have to believe? That all this stuff is common knowledge and that most people can just go online and YouTube, what I would be teaching them or sharing with them, so why would they pay me? Why would I have to believe that that I'm not worthy of any attention or having more money or being more successful? So many different beliefs that you can list out that will tell you exactly why you feel the way you feel about coaching or starting your practice or charging someone for your advice. Plain and simple, okay? So make a list of all these things. I've done this several times with many different areas in my life, and it's just amazing. It just creates like instant awareness. Just keep asking that question and make that list as long as you want. The more the better, obviously, because it starts showing you more and more about yourself, and then it starts taking you down different paths, and now you start understanding like, oh, this is why I can't do this, or this is why I felt that way the other day when I was trying to do this other thing. And oh, what would I have to believe? Oh, I have to believe this, that I'm not good enough at that. So why try? Why take the risk if I know I'm going to fail? So that was step 1. Create awareness using the what would I have to believe question. Step number 2. In step number 2, you want to look at your goal. Where is it that you're going and what is it that you're trying to create? Once you look at that and you say, well, I'm trying to be a coach. I'm trying to become a life coach or a relationship coach, a business coach, an executive coach, health coach, any type of coaching. That's what I want to do. And so that's that. You go back and use the same little question that you used for number 1, but now you're going to rephrase it a little bit in order to find out what would you have to believe in order to create that reality naturally, effortlessly, What would I have to believe in order to be a successful coach? What would I have to believe in order to be able to share my information for a fee without feeling any less than I feel right now? Or what would I have to believe in order to, be able to start a business, be successful, and have fun, enjoy me, my life, my work, and everything? What would I have to believe? So I'll tell you a little trick that I like to do. I learned that many years ago, even before I was a coach and starting to coach, and I saw somebody was talking about it, and he was using someone that he admired for this exercise, and he was saying, what would I have to believe, to create the success that this person has created? What would that person have to believe? What does that person believe that allows him to create all this success, all this wealth, all this happiness? What is it that this person believes? Because it looks so natural to them. Obviously there's a gap between us. So what is it that this person believes that I don't, that could create that success that I'm looking for, right? So for example, in my life, I've done it with, I used to do it with Tony Robbins. I did it with Richard Branson. I've done it with Warren Buffett. I've done it with Robert Kiyosaki from Poor Dad, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. See different areas, right? Investment, motivation, real estate, etc., right? And Richard Branson, just business in general. So just to see, the differences in beliefs and stuff. And even though, yes, you'll find little nuances that are, different between all these people, they primarily share pretty much the same beliefs, believe it or not. That's why they create what they create so easily. It's not that it doesn't require work. It requires work, but for them, there's a lot less resistance to do this work because of their beliefs. Does that make sense? So, when you look at one of these guys, so for example, Richard Branson, or let's talk about Tony Robbins since we're talking about coaching. So when I did the exercise, I said, well, what would Tony Robbins have to believe in order to, have created all this success? And it's not very difficult to think, well, Tony Robbins thinks or believes that his information is super valuable. Tony Robbins believes that he can charge an immense amount of money for his information because it is so valuable. Tony Robbins believes that he can build any business that he likes. Tony Robbins believes that, putting a team together around him would help him, just focus on the things that he's good at and succeed. Tony Robbins believes that, etc. You can fill in the blank on all these things, right? But you see where I'm going. All the beliefs. What are the beliefs? About business, about money. He believes that he's worth a lot of money, right? He believes that, he is the man, primarily, right? That's where it comes down to. He believes that he can figure anything out. He believes that he can learn as many things as he needs to learn in order to achieve the success that he's after, right? Those are the beliefs. And if you look at all these other guys, the Warren Buffett, Richard Branson, Robert Kiyosaki, do you think the beliefs are different? Do you think that Warren Buffett doesn't feel like he's worth a lot of money? Do you think that Robert Kiyosaki doesn't feel like he can figure out any real estate business? Do you think that Richard Branson doesn't feel like there's no problem that he cannot solve? That's where it all comes down to. So I gave you the example just to show you, right? Usually the standard, let's call them standard beliefs that create a lot of success for people, or at least the success that we're after, okay? So once you had that list of beliefs from all these people or the people that you choose, just pick your hero or heroine, I'm sorry, and just do it with them. See what comes up, okay? And see if you would like to implant or install some of those beliefs in you, okay? So now you have, in step number 1, you have the beliefs from the first exercise where you stand right now, and then you have the beliefs that you're after, and now you can see that there's a gap, right? There's sometimes it's a big gap, sometimes it's not that big of a gap, but there's a gap, and that gap needs to be bridged, okay? So that's where step number 3 comes in. So step number 3, using reality as feedback to help you change beliefs, okay? So how does this work? So using reality. One of the things that that happen with beliefs, right? Like I was telling you before, is that they don't allow you to see reality, you see? You think that you're seeing reality out there. You cannot see reality. You only see what you believe to be true, whether it's good or bad, and what your beliefs allow into your awareness, okay? If it wasn't like that, your brain would be like going nuts, scanning every situation, every possible threat, everything all the time. It's exhausting. It wouldn't be able to do it. So that's why all the beliefs are there, to kind of like guide you and protect you. The problem is that they act as filters and they don't allow reality to come in. So if you have a belief that you're not worthy of money for your advice, or to stand up in front of a group and have all this attention on you and be able to like perform, etc., at some point in your life, you created that belief, probably in school, right? You got ridiculed or whatever, and all of a sudden your brain deemed that experience as dangerous, painful, as to, you know, probably created some type of warning for it. Don't do, avoid, blah, 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 meh, you know, all kinds of things. So you wouldn't put yourself in that situation again, and you would be safe. Create a little, you know, safe zone or comfort zone around you, you know, by creating all these uncomfortable feelings whenever you were exposed to that situation, again, in the future. So what happens is that if you had an opportunity to stand on stage and, you know, talk about your message, talk about how you could help people, talk about something that you're good at, you're an expert at, if you had that opportunity, you would avoid it completely. If you had that feeling, if you had a fear of you know, public speaking or whatever. Why? Because of that belief. So in your eyes, that is not a possibility for you, right? So you cannot see reality, meaning reality is that we all could do that. That is a reality. Anybody could stand up on a stage and speak. No doubt about it. Whether you feel like this or that, or you would, you know, feel like throwing up or getting sick, it's a whole different story. But we all could stand up on a stage and give a speech. There's no doubt about that. So that is reality. That's what I mean, using reality to allow you to see what's possible and kind of like, you know, create a little gap in between all this like mess that you have in your head, so you can see, oh my God, this is really possible. If I could just get rid of this belief and this other belief and this other belief, now I could create a new belief that supports that reality for me. That's using reality to reinforce and support new behaviors, new actions, and new results, right? So when you consider a situation like coaching, you want to coach, you want to help people, you have a message that you want to share with others and make a living out of this, and you see somebody else doing it, and you see, wow, you know, that person is doing it very well, you know, they're successful, but, you know, obviously because they can, you know, talk on stage, and they can, you know, they're very outgoing, and they have no problem asking somebody for money, and all these things. They have all these things that I don't have, right? I invite you to see that all these things, they're possible for you. All these things that this person is doing are possible for you. And I'll invite you right now to do a quick exercise. Couldn't you say to someone, hey, you know, I actually happen to be good at, you know, what you're trying to do. Would you like to here I could help you. Sure, why don't you tell me how you could help me? Well, I would go about this like this. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. How does that look? Well, that looked like a phenomenal plan. I never thought about that. Would you like me to help you implement this plan? Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, it'll be $500 for a week. You okay with that? Can you do that? Now tell me you cannot do that. That you cannot say those words, right? Well, but that person, it's just easy for them. Okay, they have the beliefs that support that, right? And that's why they create what they create. But can you not, honestly, can you not do the same thing, what I just did? Can you not just say the same words? If I told you exactly word for word what to say when you're asking for money or selling your service or whatnot, do you think you could not do it? Anybody could do it, right? That's what I mean. Seeing reality and using reality for what it is and not according to what you think things are or should be. I was taking a class at the University of Houston. They have a separate department that is called the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center. And I believe that a lot of state schools have that. It's a program that is partly funded by the government and partly funded by the school. So what they do is that they put together a lot of different workshops for the community. This is not necessarily for students. It's just for the community to come and learn about business. So they have all kinds of classes about accounting, marketing, web design, all kinds of branding, business planning, you name it. They have it, right? They have a little workshop going on for that. And I was taking a class there once, and the director of the program, came into the room, and she introduced herself, and then she started talking about how they're always looking for other people and teachers to come and teach new workshops. And she said, if you have an idea for a new workshop, just email me, and maybe we can work together and put it together, and you can come teach it. And I was like, wow, there it is. That's the opportunity. I'll come here and teach something that I know about business. So I emailed her, and she asked me, well, what can you do? I'm like, well, I know WordPress. I was working on I always built my websites on WordPress and everything. So, no certification or anything. It just, I happen to use it every day, and I've been using it for several years. So she's like, okay, why don't you put together a little outline for the class, and then you come give us a mock presentation. Like, all right, great. So I put the program together and told them how long, I would need. And then I came in, of course, I was, ill for 3 days before that mock presentation. And I came in and I did it it was like 30 minutes or something like that, just for them to get a feel for the class. And I didn't think it went that well. Obviously, I had no experience. I was super nervous, etc. But they liked it. They liked the class. And they said, let's do it. Let's approve it. Let's schedule it. And let's get it done. And at that point, I just could not believe it. I could not believe that I put myself in that situation, and new stuff started happening to me. The opportunities, the lady coming in to the room, the emails, the back and forth, the opportunity, the openness to me doing this for them, and all of a sudden having it go my way. And I was floored, right? That is probably the best example I could give you about seeing reality for what it is. Even though I was taking the steps, I didn't think probably a month before that was possible for me. You see, that was not possible for me. There's no way I can stand in front of a group and teach a class. I've never done it. I would ruin it. I would crash it. Like, I would not be able to do it. And a month later, I was teaching a class in front of their staff, not even the actual students. It was the staff of this place. I'm teaching a class and I'm, getting questions thrown at me and I'm answering the questions, etc. And all of a sudden, it gets approved and it happened, right? So now what I do is I go back to that experience, right? In my mind, whenever I'm doubting whether I can do something good or not, I go back to that experience and many other that I have accumulated over the years. Obviously, I've done this exercise many, many times. But I go back and I look at that one experience, how it felt and the process, what happened, and I see myself doing that thing, being scared and all, but doing whatever it is that I want to do and remembering how I felt through the process. And then I say to myself, I know how it's going to feel. So what am I afraid of? Obviously the feeling, the discomfort and the nervousness and the possibility of everything bombing. The reality is that I was always able to do that. You see, I was the only one holding myself back. Okay? But nowadays, that's what I do. That's how you get rid of the imposter syndrome. You start seeing things in your past. I invite you to look at your past and all the little successes that you've had since you were little, right? Anything. Learning how to read, learning how to do math, graduating elementary school, high school, learning how to drive, learning how to use a computer, learning how to use an app on the phone. Like even if it's little successes, little experiences that you went through, every single one of those moments has a lot of value if you are able to if you're willing to look at them for what they are and not what you believe they are. Oh, they're nothing. They're little things that, everybody can do those things. Stop saying that everybody can do those things. Not everybody can do those things. At some point you could not. And then all of a sudden you went through a little process and you were able to figure it out, right? That is an invaluable amount of information about your life and about your capabilities and your ability to do things and create results for yourself and teach other people how to create the same results. Okay? So that is reality. The reality is that you've done it a million times with many, 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 many different things. And nowadays, if you were able to pull from that, your own personal story, your own personal successes, and look at them for what they are, then you can see the process. Then you know how you felt and what it's going to be like next time you step outside your comfort zone to create a new reality, a new piece of reality that is going to challenge all the beliefs that you have about that one thing and is going to allow you and start supporting that activity from now on. All you need to do, first step, again, you become aware of what's stopping you. You become aware of what is going to get you there, the belief that you must have. And then you look at that reality in step number 3. What is that reality? Is it possible for me? Could I do that? Of course I could do that. Now, how am I going to feel? Go back in time and see similar times that you struggle to do something, create something, learn something. You struggle with something and then you were able to overcome that or succeed at it. There it is. That is your breakthrough. That's how you start seeing reality, knowing how things are going to feel within you and what the process is going to be like. And then you're able to push yourself just enough, just over the edge, so you can create all of a sudden that view in between beliefs that is going to show you reality. Oh my God, this was always possible for me. I cannot believe I'm doing it right now. I'm about to dissolve all this crap around me and break through to a new level of success and activities in my life. I promise you, every time I've done that exercise and I look at what happened after, is that as soon as you break your comfort zone, break through the comfort zone line, all of a sudden new opportunities show up. So what happened to me? I did the class for 2 or 3 months. They wanted me to do a second class, a different class, still related to WordPress, but it was a more advanced class. Boom. What happened 3 months later? They wanted me to do another class. This This time it was about business in general, right? All these opportunities start coming your way. All of a sudden, I was able to get feedback from the people that I was teaching, feedback from the staff, how to get better, what to do different, what to work on, etc. All of a sudden, I started growing and growing and growing, and my confidence was just soaring. Why? Because I felt so good. I felt so good when I was going through that, because I could not believe it. Like, literally several months before that, I could not see myself doing it. And all of a sudden, I just said yes to the opportunity, created a new action that created a new result for me, that elevated me to a new level. And all of a sudden, because I was in this new level of receiving, right? I was saying yes to everything on that plane. It was coming to me. More classes, more opportunities, growth, guidance, training, etc. And it was phenomenal, okay? So I encourage you to do all these exercises in order for you to do the same thing. Just create a new reality for you. Everything, my friend, is possible. Everything is possible for you and for me and for anyone who's willing to say yes to new opportunities, just willing to see reality for what it is, which is you being able to figure anything out, because you've done it a million times. You know the process. You're just not allowing yourself to go there. You're calling yourself not, allowed, but your brain is calling you an imposter. How can that be? I know you have a good heart. I know you have, because you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be wanting to coach and serve others and help people have better lives, meaningful lives, right? While you make yourself, have a meaningful life as well. You wouldn't be here. So I know you want to do good. You can do it. You can do it. You're not an imposter. Do the exercises. Start from where you are. Look at where you want to be, and start using reality to bridge the gap. Reality is that is possible for you. What's possible for you? How have you gone through that before? How is it going to feel like as soon as you start taking those hard actions that are going against all these beliefs that you're trying to dissolve in order to move yourself over to where you want to be, okay? There's one more step on this formula, which is repetition. And repetition has two different sides to it. One of them is what they call affirmations, okay? And affirmations, just like any one of these motivation gurus do, it's just that repetition in your head that something is possible for you. Now I'm not talking about, I have $1 million, I have $1 million, I have $1 million, I have $1 million, no. It's more about, I can do that. That is possible for me. That is totally possible for me. Yes, I can coach. Yes, I can have 10 clients paying me, a certain amount of dollars. I can have 20 clients, pay me a certain amount of dollars. I see myself very easily doing all these things. I see myself serving. I see myself, I see people paying me for my advice. I see people valuing my information. I see people thanking me for my services, for my help, for what I have to offer. I see that. That is a possibility for me, because it is for many other people. The difference between you and them is that they have said yes to the opportunities. You haven't yet. Okay, that's the only difference. All you got to do is start saying yes in order to bridge that gap to where you want to be. Repetition, affirmations. Yes, that is possible for me. Every time you feel yourself right at the edge of the comfort zone, feeling, fearful and nervous and excited, you just remind yourself, this is possible for me. This is possible for me. I've been through this before many times. I know this feeling. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be nerve-wracking for a little bit until I just cross over. And then once I cross over, that's it. I know I'm at a different level. New things are going to come to me, and everything's going to work out. The other side of repetition is trying to do more and more of those things, even if it's at a very small scale, that make you uncomfortable. Just little things just to get you pushing that comfort zone a little bit. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I really hope this video was valuable to you. If it was, please do me a favor, subscribe. I have way more videos coming your way soon. Please hit the notification bell to be notified next time I post something here. And don't forget, please, join our Facebook group. That's where the conversation is happening. You have direct access to me. You can ask questions. You can have other people, help you with things, or you can start helping other people in the group as well. I don't mind. And if you haven't yet taken my life coach aptitude test, 6 questions, 3 minutes, you'll know if you have what it takes to be a coach. So until then, till next time, I wish you the best. And let's get out there and start changing lives one session at a time.